Hello lovelies, I'm back. This is Kimberly Purpose and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do another video. I wanted to talk about chakras and healing. I think that's very important topic to talk about because I don't know if y'all remember a while ago, I believe it was about 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I did a video about the power of Indigenous insight. And on that particular video, I talked about how, we looked into the future and we were able to plan ahead as Indigenous people, American Aborigines. And I think that's something that we sort of lack because we are not, in the video, you can check that out. I did that a few months ago. But I want to sort of touch on chakras now because I think we need spiritual healing to heal from a lot of the hurt and wrongdoings that were done in the past among our people. And I did another video too about ancestral wounds and all that, healing from the ancestral wounds and how it's passed down from generation to generation through DNA. But I also believe that's also important to heal ourselves and to understand energy healing. And that's one of the things I'm doing, studying Reiki. I'm studying Reiki. I'm actually enjoying my class a lot, I'm studying to become a practitioner as well. And that's one of the things I'm studying. I learned a lot about chakras and everything. I was just curious to understand how it's applied to the American Aborigines here in the Americas. And I stumbled across this article, which is quite interesting, and I want to share it with you all. It's by Deidre Aragon, and the title of it is Chakras of the American Indians. This is my first time reading this. This article was published back in 2011. And this is my first time reading it, so I'm reading it with you all. And so I just thought this was an interesting article because on my channel, I want to start talking about chakras and going into details. And because I believe a lot of these healings, a lot of them coming from the East, especially with Reiki. Reiki is from Japan, if I'm not mistaken. And so I find that interesting, but I also want to know how it is applied by the Indigenous people in Americas. And I'm pretty sure we did similar, the Indigenous people in Americas had similar beliefs and mindsets and on healing the mind, body, and spirit. And I know with the American Indians that they touched a lot on nature and the earth, and also universal healing as well. But this article, I think it's based on Edgar Cayce. And if y'all haven't heard of Edgar Cayce, they said he's an intuitive psychic. He was intuitive, I'm not sure. Some people think that's a negative connotation. I guess he was a prophet, pretty much a prophet, who could foretell the future. He had given pretty accurate depictions and stuff, but he also studied the chakras as well. And I'm going to share with you on this article. I love this picture, you guys. I thought this was amazing. I love this picture. It looks like it's on the west side, the Grand Canyon, perhaps. I'm not sure if that's Grand Canyon or not. Don't take my word for it, but I just love these mountains and the valleys back here. It's beautiful. That's caught my eye, this picture. But let's start. It says, most people are familiar with Edgar Cayce's teaching of the chakras, and then they give you the page number in his book, which are familiar to the Hindu beliefs. Very few, however, are aware of the chakras as taught in the myths of Pueblos Indians, the southwestern United States. Oh, really? Wow. Very few, however, are aware of the chakras as taught in the myths of the Pueblo Indians of the southwestern United States. The following article gives a brief overview of these chakras according to traditional Pueblo's teaching. Wow, I didn't know this. This is interesting. I didn't know they had chakras, study chakras here, or did chakras in the United States with the indigenous people. But this is interesting. Like I said, this is tapping into the indigenous roots, or and touching more into developing the ability to have better insight. But it continues. It says, like Edgar Casey's reading, the Pueblos, I think it's Pueblos. I'm not sure. If I'm mispronouncing, I apologize. But I believe it's Pueblos. Refer to the chakras as spiritual centers. I heard of that, y'all. Spiritual centers. That's interesting. So that's another word for chakras. For y'all those don't know what chakra means, chakra is pretty much the 7 point. I believe it's the 7 points in the body that touches on your spiritual. I think I have a book here that shows the spirit. If I can find it, I have it. One day, well, I'm gonna explain it in another video with you all next time. But right now, I just wanted to show how it's applied to the American Indians. But I got a picture here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but these are chakra points right here. But there's several chakra points in the body. They're energy centers. It's like it's seven. It starts with the base. The first chakra is the root. The second chakra is the sacral. The third is the solar plexus. The fourth is the heart, and the fifth is the throat. The sixth is the third eye, and the seventh is the crown. So it's 7 chakra points, but I'll explain that later in another video. But I just wanted to explain to you, it's like energy points in the body, pretty much like your life force, your soul. The life force that's gives energy throughout the body and keep you balanced and thriving. Sometimes it's very important to balance your chakras, and I'll explain all of that in another video. But in this video, that's what chakras talking about, the energy centers in your body. And it says here spiritual centers, which is great. It says which directly correlates in physical parts of the body. These centers are points from the axis in the bodies that is related to the polar axis of the earth. Each center has its own vibrations. These centers travels up and down the body axis, similar to the Kundalini force of the chakras in the readings. The first people of creations were given these points to remind them of the spiritual connection to both the Creator and the earth. At the time of the first creation, the poles yet shift to their current position, and the earth energy flowed in different directions than it does. Oh, it says here. Wow, this is interesting. At the time of the first creation, the poles were not yet shift to their current position, and the earth energy flowed in a different direction than it does now. Interesting. Therefore, the energy of the chakras move from the head down rather than from the bottom up. And that makes sense. And so the crown area of the chakra is on the top of the head, and which is interesting. The bottom is down to the root. That's why it's important to keep everything balanced, and learning different techniques such as Reiki is a perfect, or yoga. Some people might use yoga, ways to balance and that pretty much stem from the indigenous practices of the ancient people, which I think is missing in a lot of people. It's sort of unorthodox here in the West, and a lot of people don't use it like they should. But I believe that connecting back to yourself and realizing who you are and connecting back to the universe is very important. And I think that's a lot of is missing in with a lot of us, and I think that's a part of having more of a self discovery of who you are. And I think we as American Aborigines, aka African Americans, could really benefit from that. But let's continue. It says the first of these spiritual centers lies on the top of the head, which is the crown chakra. This is where the soul enters the body upon birth and exits upon the death. Wow, see, this is interesting. I always wondered how that works, because I always wonder when your baby is in the womb, how on earth did the baby gets here? I guess according to their beliefs, the baby is born, and that's when the soul enters the body through the crown and to its temple. And then when you die, it exits through the crown the same way it came in. That is interesting. Now, it's an interesting concept. It, opens your eyes to some things, to other beliefs. Interesting. As a person ages, this center hardens, and the connection of the universal consciousness becomes less recognized. This explains why young children are more apt to seeing auras and spiritual beings. That's true. When I was younger, I used to see things, I used to feel like I could see spirits and see the auras. I still see people's auras sometimes, especially if I'm in deep meditation. And a lot of times it is easier for children to see things because that crown, and that makes sense, the crown of their chakras is open, and they more open to seeing more things, which is true. And as you get older, you see less and less. It says their minds are still open to the possibilities of Western culture does not accept as reality. And it's true. And a lot of times, the studying of chakras and stuff stems from Eastern culture. And they still practice a lot of this stuff, like Reiki and yoga. And it's just being slowly introduced back into the Western culture. But sometimes it's still considered to be unorthodox. But I think it's a great way for us to start finding other ways to tap more into our spiritual selves, and also connecting more back to our culture and how our ancestors probably did some things as well. And it says here, the next vibratory center responses with the brains. The function of this point helps you to understand the plan of a creator. See? Of the creator, Yahweh, or the creator, whoever that, not whoever, but whatever God that you worship or believe in, or who created the earth or the universe. That's gives you a better understanding, connecting. Pretty much, I think the best way to describe this is you connecting back with the universe. It says a better, and it connecting with the Most High, and then thus carry it out. And it says the physical function of the brain, thoughts, and actions are considered to be secondary to that of the Creator's original plan. So it's like when you look at your chakras and everything, and you open yourself to more of these meditations and spiritual guidance, and as a whole through the universe, through positive flow of energy, that's when your brain, your concerns about what's going here on this earth plane is not as important. You get a chance to get more of the connection with the universe, the creator, you have a clearer insight as to what needs to be done with your purpose and your life mission here on earth. Not just here on earth, like it says, with the universe, you're tapping more into more universal energy. But let's continue. It says the brain centers lays the throat and place of speech. Yep. This center connects humankind to the breath of life. Is so all creation. Through vocal prayers and praises, humans are able to commune with the Creator with their physical existence of the earth. Wow. This is interesting. And see that, wow. It says here, moving downward, the heart centers. And see, this pretty much goes into details about the chakras. It says the heart centers represents the duality of nature and life. A person's true intent is said to be one of the heart and purpose and one's idea. See, it gets to the root cause of who you are and understanding your mission and your, what you're supposed to do here while you're on this earth plane. It says if your thoughts and actions are not at with the universe, they are said to have two hearts. Wow. Those two hearts were the first to bring physical illness to humankind. The last spiritual center is the solar plexus, the throne of the Creator, from which the spiritual life of a person is directed. It is taught. It can be taught as a central center of the spiritual thought. Physically, this is the center of the center for digestion for the body. That's the stomach area, you all. That the solar plexus part. And I think it's interesting. The two hearts is, I guess, two hearts is the true direction that you're supposed to go, and then another heart going the wrong way. And sometimes, you can bring friction among the bodies and everything and cause sickness. I guess that's when you have an imbalance. That's what I'm gathering. If y'all see something else out of that, just let me know in the comments. And it says here, unlike the first people who were more in tune to the spiritual connection. See, that's what this is what it's saying. The first people were connected to and tuned to the spiritual connection. And that is true. I agree. We're not connected spiritually like we should be. In this modern day time, we are very detached. I believe too, with us being indoctrinated with Christianity and based on Western society, the Great Caucasians concept of religion and certain mindsets, we have been torn away from our indigenous roots and having more of a understanding of the power and insight, understanding the power of energy healing, understanding connecting to your ancestors and how important it is, connecting to the earth and connecting to the universe. These are the things that are missing, and I believe that that's something that we should all reconnect to in order to bring that bit a more positive flow of energy and blessings to us in the universe, and we'll have a clearer insight as to what our mission and our purpose is and how to connect with one another and on a much higher and more spiritual level. And plus, I believe it'll bring more peace here on earth and the universe if we are more in tune. And I think a lot of us are so spiritually disconnected and so focused on the physical that we don't even look from within and look at what's in the inside and what is coming from the Most High. And that connection is definitely eroded here. And that's why we have a lot of chaos here. So much anger, so much violence that's going on. And, because nobody connects with anything. There's no connection whatsoever. And I agree with this first part of this sentence. It says, unlike first people, which are the ancients that we had, the ancient ancestors who were more in tune to spirituality, which is true. Humankind today has 2 additional lower chakras, and that's true. And that makes sense. It says, I guess they talking about the base chakra, the lower chakras, the root part of the chakras. And we focus more on the physical, like we said, the bottom 2 layer, as opposed to the Most High, which is the crown area. And I think that's exactly what's missing right now. And see, these are based on the physical realm that were not needed by the first people. See, they didn't focus so much on the physical. They focused more on the spiritual. As humans evolved through such successive world, we lost touch with the Creator's plan and became more focused on the physical world instead of our spiritual self. And that is so true. I agree with that. That's so true. And I think that's a lot, how we lost our spiritual insight, our indigenous roots of having, the power of indigenous insight. That's missing. I believe that's something that we should be reconnecting with. And I think that will help us overall, with loving ourselves, having more of an identity, understanding our mission, coming together in unison. If you're more spiritually connected, then there is a stronger connection, a bond among all of us to bring about that positive change and positive flow of energy and blessings that the universe wants. The Creator wants to bestow on us, but we just don't know how to tap into it. And I think learning more about the different ways of healing spiritually, mentally, is one way through spiritual therapy. Energy therapy is an excellent way, I believe, that we can really connect. Whether it's Reiki, whether it's yoga, whether it's doing more deep meditations, opening ourselves up to tapping more into this universal energy is critical, and I think that's very important. But it says here more prophecies from different cultures, including those of the Hopi Pueblos, says that says that they're moving towards another pole shift. See, there's a new pole shift. And it says with the fourth world ends, we move into the fifth world, which is likely the mankind will see another change in their chakras. This time the chakras which may be back to our less physical side, similar to the first people. See? And I see that shift. I really do. I'm starting to see a shift. No. And I think the problem is the original people, which is us, the Aborigines here in the Americas, we are disconnected. And I think the power that we need is from within ourselves, and that's to reconnect on a more spiritual level through more of learning about our indigenous heritage and root, which we're doing now, which I think is awesome. People sharing our history, and that's why I do on my channel, the history and everything, and the connecting. But I also want to share with my family how we can tap more into our spirituality in healing these old wounds that we have. We first start with ourselves and understanding chakras and the energy source and how everything works, and how, once you understand chakras and the energy, and understanding how this energy works and how it enables you to connect more with the universe and with the Creator and Yahweh. Well, for me, it's Yahweh. And if I offend anybody, I apologize. I just say Creator for anyone who has a different religion. I just say for the Creator of all, in the universe of the Most High, you can have a more deeper, closer relationship or connection. So you can have more clear, concise understanding of who you are as a person and what's your life purpose here on this earth plane and on a universal level. And I think that's key. And it says here that this time the change may be back to us, be back to our less physical side, similar to the first people. In another generation, as we reconnect with our spirituality, human bodies may no longer have the need for the lower physical chakras. This will help humanity on our journey back home to the Creator. Wow. Oh my gosh, I love this article. I thought this was a brilliant article. And it says here, and it mentions here, according to published stories, there were 5 worlds of humankind. The first 3 were destroyed because humans separated themselves from the Creator. We are currently in a 4th world. Wow, this is according to the American Indians. The American Indians. And this is something that we miss because we were thrown into slavery or prisoners of war and had our history and heritage erased. And I'm gonna have to look this up. This is quite interesting. It says Pueblo story. I think that's something we should read up on and learn about. I might try to do another video on this because that's quite interesting. And this is the beliefs and the stories and that's been passing down from ancient times as to what happened to humanity. And this is my first time hearing about the 5 worlds. I think this is amazing. So I'm gonna have to read up on that. Maybe I can find a story somewhere on the internet or find a book or whatever. Not whatever, but just find a book and get a better understanding. But I just wanted to share this with you all, and I just wanted to tie it in as to how, our indigenous roots, how spiritual insight is missing, I believe. And I think it's important for us to reconnect because we are spiritual beings. And I love how they explain how a child comes into this world and how the soul enters the body, and how when you leave this earth plane, how your soul exits your body and goes back to the Creator. You go back to the universe where you came from. And I just think that's totally amazing. And I know that's exactly what's missing. But I would love to see what you all think. I hope I did a good job at explaining this, and it really showed how chakras and everything, and how the American Indians have used chakras healing, and in the past, and how our ancestors more than likely used this technique as well, and how we have lost the connection, And I think part of it is we don't connect to it because, a lot of times when you've been indoctrinated with Christianity, they sort of shy you away from non-traditional approaches to spiritual healing and prayer and meditation. They say, oh, that's bad. Anything that's totally different and that can connect you to your indigenous heritage is oftentimes seen as being negative or evil or bad, but because you've been indoctrinated to follow that one system, as opposed to opening yourself up and seeing what is out there, and now that we're being more curious and want to understand about our indigenous heritage, learning the spiritual side, the spirituality too, and how our ancestors might have connected to the universe and through energy healing and therapy. That's one way we can have a better understanding of who we are, what our purpose is, what our mission, what it is that we're supposed to do here on this earth plane to make this world a better place and to make this universe a better place. But please like this video, you guys. Thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm on Black Junction TV as well. And please don't forget to subscribe there. I have I'm working on a few projects, you all. I have a new website. I'm still working on it. I'm gonna put a link up eventually when I'm done. And I'm also having I'm working on some classes. I'm gonna have a school. I'm gonna be teaching classes online. I'm gonna be sharing that with you all as well. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? The school, the website, and I think it was something else I'm working on. But Yeah, and I'm gonna be working. I'm working on several different things, you guys. So I'm gonna just keep you all posted, and yeah, and don't forget to put your comments below. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I will be putting on more of these chakra videos, more on chakras, and probably some more crystal healing and things like that. Because I'm studying it, and I think that's something that I'm going to go more into myself, as I grow as a person and learn more about who I am, and also connecting more to my Indigenous roots and heritage. But till next time, family, peace and be blessed. Bye bye.